mean, we're very open. Like, we're not, like, I never tried to, like, just, like, go through his phone and, like, ask for his password. I mean, like, I just trust him.
Mm-hmm.
So we never had an issue with any of that I can even think of.
Okay.
You went to my phone before we
That was a long time. That doesn't count.
Okay, that don't count, yeah. But she did.
That was okay. One time.
Shh, be quiet.
Welcome to the PowerTrip Podcast. We're your hosts,
Charmaine
and Saquon.
Welcome back. Welcome
What's
back.
happening, people? Today, we're coming to you with a new series we have called Couples Talk, and we have our good friends here today, Naturopathic doctor. We have a best-selling author and entrepreneurs, Jameelah and mine. How you guys doing today?
We good.
Great. Thanks for having us on.
Thank you guys for coming. Our first guest of our new segment.
We really appreciate
so
it.
it's a big moment, y'all. So if you guys want to introduce yourselves and just tell our audience a little bit about you.
I'll go first. So I'm Dr. Jameelah Nelson. As they said, I'm a naturopathic doctor, expert in natural medicine, postpartum specialist, and best-selling author. I own a practice here in Atlanta, Georgia, and I help a lot of new moms and children in my practice.
Okay.
Hey, my name is Jermond Nelson. I'm an entrepreneur, and I got my own brand in Anias Zaire, and that's what I rep, and that's what it is.
Are you wearing the shirts?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, all right. Came prepared. All right, so we're gonna jump into today's topic.
Yeah, so today's topic is going to be boundaries. We're going to go over the different types of boundaries today. We're going to give you guys our personal experiences, some insight on boundaries, why you should set boundaries, and we're also going to go possibly over some unhealthy traits, maybe. We do say what unhealthy boundaries would be, though. And where they can derive from.
Yes. So let's jump in it and let's just talk about what are boundaries.
Okay. So let's see. What are boundaries? So boundaries, first of all, are usually set early in life. These are things that we learn from lessons early on in life, possibly traumatic experiences or just, viewing other people's lives. Also, let's see, boundaries protect your personal self by setting a clear line between what is me and what is not. A lack of boundaries opens the doors for others to determine your thoughts, feelings, and needs in certain situations. And in defining boundaries is a process of determining what behavior you will accept from others and what you will not.
So that's basically like the summary of boundaries. It's things that you will accept from others and things that you will not. And we all have boundaries.
Yes.
And like Saquon said, a lot of it starts from childhood. Growing up, you get a lot of these type of values and boundaries from like your family, things that they teach you. Then when you go to school, you learn different type of boundaries and how to interact with people and just your bubble and your space and how to protect it.
No.
So go ahead.
No, you're good.
So next we'll talk about why boundaries are important. And pretty much kind of how, like we said, because you're protecting your space, especially when it comes to children, knowing boundaries can protect them from being taken advantage of within your relationship. Boundaries are necessary because if you have outside influences trying to interfere within your relationship, that can cause disharmony between you and your partner, and can't have that.
Before we move on, what are boundaries to you guys? Do you guys have any definition of boundaries that kind of differ at all? Or anything that you would like to add?
Well, I mean, I agree with your definition. Things that you will allow and things that you won't allow in any area of your life. I think that things that you are like, I won't accept this, and things that it's like, okay, that's cool.
I'm pretty much the same way.
Do you guys consciously teach your children how to set boundaries for themselves?
Well, we haven't really gotten to that with them too much.
They're still pretty young there are certain boundaries, but boundaries for themselves, I would say, like, for example, when it comes to eating certain things, boundaries as far as
also, I think boundaries like respecting adults,
that kind of boundaries.
stuff like that. You can, like, be respectful to adults, listen to what they tell you to do, and don't talk back, and how you greet them. But
gotcha.
Okay, I was going a whole different direction.
Yeah, it might be good boundaries.
It was valid, though.
Go ahead.
That's also valid. I guess. Okay, let me just say what I was going to say.
Say what you gotta say, girl.
That too, but I mean, like, boundaries as far as, because you said boundaries for them specifically,
right?
What I was thinking was like what they're eating and what they're putting in their body and all of that kind of stuff. More of a healthier perspective, I guess. Like, we teach those kind of things as well. That's the direction I was going to go.
Okay, so both are valid. We appreciate both insights. Yes,
it's cool because it's, on one end, it's kind of teaching them personal boundaries, for their own health and their lifestyle, and then the other is social.
Yeah, and which is important because boundaries can help boost self-esteem by knowing, like, what things you'll put up with, what things you won't. Also with, like you said, health, knowing that, okay, these are the things that I'm eating, and when I go to school, even if they offer me something different, that's a boundary to know that, no, this is something that I'm not going to eat. So it sets your child up for, like, a healthier lifestyle, which also ties into self-esteem too, because the healthier you are physically affects your mentality as well too.
Yeah.
And as far as confidence is concerned. So
Jameelah, with the eating, how do you go about teaching those boundaries? Like, has it been difficult or anything?
I wouldn't say that it's been difficult, but I would say, like, for example, if he ate too much of something and he had a result from it, he had a bellyache or he didn't feel good. And so we would probably say, see, when you eat too much of this, then this is what happens. So you have to not overdo it when you are, eating whatever it is. So, like, if you know what the result is, then you wouldn't want to do it again, because now you know what will happen if you do that. That's the
teach through experiences.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I like that. Alrighty. So now we can talk about unhealthy boundaries and why some people have unhealthy boundaries.
Yeah. So unhealthy boundaries can come from weakness, like a weak self-identity, and having a disempowerment over, or a feeling of disempowerment over your own life. That's definitely unhealthy boundaries there.
And that makes a lot of sense, because if you think about it, especially, like, we're both in the healthcare field, and you guys just being parents, like, if you constantly tell your child, oh, you're stupid, you're dumb, or you keep talking down on them, and, like, if you're physically abusive to your child, and they won't learn healthy boundaries because you're not presenting that to them. So now when they go to school, I feel like that type of child would be more easily able to be bullied, because guess what? At home, I'm getting this and I'm being told that, I'm not smart, I'm not this, I'm not that. And then also my parents they may not look at it that way, but my parents are abusing me. So why would I come to school and think that I need to set this boundary when my own parents, the people who are supposed to be guiding me, aren't setting this for me?
And sometimes not even do I need. Sometimes their parents and their family doing certain things to them creates a fear to try to set that boundary. Because some people do attempt to set a boundary with their family, but through the unhealthy boundaries that they have, they push against it. And that kind of creates that fear to go out into the world and set those boundaries with others.
Yeah, that's true. Have you guys noticed, have you guys have any experiences with anyone where you've noticed that this person possibly has some unhealthy boundaries?
You know, we got a lot of them now. So I tell her all the time she needs to set boundaries with certain people, you know, because they tend to call you all the time, and you've been available all the time, and you don't have time for yourself. You know, you need to set them boundaries. You can't think for yourself if somebody keep calling you every time you picking up. You know, you don't have time to do what you need to do for yourself. You know, every time your phone ring, you pick it up. No, set boundaries. You know, this is what you're doing at this time. You know, this is what you're doing. You're doing time with your kids, your time with the family. Okay, I'm not talking to you right now or whatever. You know, try to set those boundaries.
That is true.
It's true.
Definitely, setting boundaries with family is definitely what we have experienced. That's the main one. I would say family is
family boundaries.
Because I feel like a little bit about, I think what you were saying, like how you grew up a certain way, maybe in an unhealthy way,
right?
You know? And then you don't realize that situation was unhealthy until someone brings it to your attention, and then you're like, oh, I didn't even know that was a problem, but now I see that it is a problem, and I see that I need to set a boundary. But if you've been in that particular situation all of your life, it's kind of
normal to you.
It's normal to the person, but I mean, once you realize it's an unhealthy relationship or whatever, and you need to make those changes, sometimes that can be difficult.
Yeah, I mean, and we were going to go over that family boundaries. Obviously, we were definitely because I mean, like we're saying, family boundaries, it sets the tone of how you live. It sets the tone of the lifestyle that you choose to create for yourself. And what you're being exposed to and things like that. So with that being said, like, how did you guys navigate that? Because I could only imagine coming to Arizona and living out here for a while, you start living a certain type of way, and you're like, okay.
You have your independence. You don't have your family out here with you.
And it's a completely different lifestyle
right
here. So you come to, you adopt certain things. So then when you go back and you're actually around your family, you're knee deep back in what you don't do. How do you navigate that and set those boundaries with your family and your children and everything like that?
Hi, Jakai.
I would say it was difficult in some ways because a lot of the changes that we made in our family was very different from both of our families in some regard. And so when we would say this is what we do as a family, it wasn't always respected initially.
Right. Especially like dealing with grandparents. They like, they in grandparent mode, so they don't be as firm as you want them to be, or they just allow the kids to do whatever.
Or they don't abide by your rules for your family in a lot of different ways. So letting them know that this is what we do as a family doesn't always work necessarily. It's definitely times where we had to like pull to the side and have a conversation with them about what we do. And we're still in the process of working on that kind of thing, but that's actually very difficult.
See, we need boundaries on this guy. Still up.
So you think, so even with that, bringing up the grandparents, do you think that those boundaries with the in-laws and things like that is kind of always a everlasting progress type thing, just like your own relationship? Or do you think that it should be a point where it's like,
this is it, and this is the line you don't cross?
Okay, so I think that it could also be the way that we draw the line. We could probably be a little bit more aggressive with it. At least
definitely.
I would say me.
Definitely. She needs to be aggressive with it.
However, he's very aggressive on his end. He would be like, "No, this is the situation." I'm just like, "Well, I mean, So I think that if I was probably more aggressive with things, it probably would be a little different. But I'm a very easygoing, laid back kind of person, kind of thing. So, but the combination makes it work well. Being like the person that, you know, is aggressive and kind of delivers the message the way it needs to be delivered.
Yeah, she like beat around the bush, and I'm like, no, just get straight to it and let me know.
He would be like, no, we're not.
What's going on?
I would
you know?
be like, well, we're not going to.
Right.
You know,
That's, I would say it's like the same for us. Would you say, Jameelah? Sorry.
He would be like, no, this is not what we're doing. I would be like, well,
right.
So he's more of
just straight to the point.
Yeah, I would say it's the same. And I think family boundaries are like the hardest thing because it's like all your life you grew up with these people.
Yeah.
They raised you. Like that's your family. It's so tough.
Yeah.
But then, you know, if you do think about like once you're married, this is your family. You know, so, and then if you're, you know, religious, it's like you leave your parents and you become one with this person. So, but it's like, yeah, that's nice and all, but I still know this is my family, you know?
That's where my issue, that is exactly where my issue is because my family's very, very close and we are just used to doing everything together and, I'm the only one married of my siblings. And so I'm also the only one with children. And so his family, they grew up completely different, you know. And so for me and my family, it's difficult for me to kind of set those boundaries because we're all used to doing things a certain way.
Right.
Kind of thing. And so being able to realize that your family now is number one and not to take away from like your parents and your family, but priority needs to be put in your immediate family with your husband and your children over anything else. And so whatever needs to be done with the family is number one and everything else can wait. And so that's something that I had to learn throughout this process.
Yeah,
and I know it's tough because to a certain extent you also understand them. You know, it's not like you don't understand why they do the things they do. You grew up with them. You know why they make the decisions. You know which person would make the bad decision that you don't even want to deal with to a certain extent. So
and I do think because Saquon's like you, Mom. Straight to the point, blunt, like, no, this is not it. This is the boundary. This is not, we're not having that. And then to me though, I'm like, wait, you know, we don't want to hurt feelings here you know, so it's like, whose feelings do you protect? Your husband's or, you know, your parents? Because it's not that what you guys are saying is negative, out of malice, spiteful. It's none of that. It's actually correct. So it's like sometimes you do have to stand up for truth and for what's right, even if it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, and it's hard because it's like when I do make that move and I have to set that boundary. See, I don't usually say too much, but once I set that boundary and went against the grain, it's like boom. Like it's not one family member that's gonna call me. It's gonna be like 2-3 family members that call me. These other 3 gonna feel away or whatever, you know, and I'm gonna see it some type of way. And it's like I just see this whole ripple effect from this one decision that I made because I thought I was doing right. You know, I thought I was doing right for myself. So it does make it difficult. And I mean, like we were saying earlier, it's that unhealthy boundary. I'm glad that I'm strong enough to make the choice because it's those type of reactions that create the fear, you know, that make other people don't really want to do it.
Yeah, I agree. Alrighty. So Thank you guys for sharing that. So we're going to slide into some more family boundaries, but more so like kind of like, I guess, roles. So with children, with having children, because they are parents of two beautiful young boys, um, is there any like responsibilities that one person does that the other, like this is your role, you know, this is what I do, and the other person typically doesn't do it? For example, if the baby has boogers in their nose, or if you're changing diapers, like do you guys have anything set like that? Or is it just kind of 50-50? Listen, you see them, change them.
Yeah. We like 50-50.
50-50 all day.
And then sometimes she might be like, shoot, I done had enough boo-boo diapers or whatever. I'm going to, like, can you change them? And I'm like, okay. But it's pretty much who first one around, who got them or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, we don't ever have a problem with that kind of stuff.
That's not never an issue.
Okay. Did you guys know that, like, kind of before, like, going in, like, while you were raising the kids, that it was just going to be like that? Was there a mind shift? Like, before you had kids, did you think, Mom, that you would be, you know, changing diapers and, you know, doing all those things? Or did it change, your perspective change once you had kids?
Well, actually, like, when I think 2003, my nephew was born. So at that time, I used to have to keep my nephew.
Okay.
So I was changing diapers back then. So that kind of got me in the groove of, you know, because I was at home by myself with him, and he had, you know, I had to change his diaper because I'm the only one there. So I kind of got used to it. So when we had our own kids, it was nothing. It was easy. Yeah.
I would definitely say that he did really well with that kind of stuff. I know, like, some guys may have issues like doing a lot of that stuff, but because he had the experience with his nephew, like, no problems there. Like, we both always 50-50, you know, he would get up and, you know, make the bottles or whatever needed to be done. It was just 50-50. And if I had been home with the kids all day, or he had been home with the kids, we know to kind of give each other a break or take over the responsibility. So
that's
good
practice.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Like that. We just did it. It just kind of
came naturally for you guys.
That's what's up. Your turn.
Nice. Yeah, that's good, because you hear a lot of times, like we listen to other podcasts and they'll say how, like, it was funny. It was actually this last podcast we were listening to. It's called the Casey Crew Podcast. And it was a writer who wrote in, and she was like, you know, her husband wants a traditional marriage. For those of you who don't know, traditional marriage is where the wife is a stay-at-home mother who takes care of the kids while the man goes out and, you know, brings home the bacon. However, he was like, well, you know, we still have to be a little bit modern, because she works 40 hours a week. He works 40 hours a week. But when it comes to the kids, that's the traditional part, that she's supposed to take care of everything.
And cook and everything.
Cook, clean. While he's done with work, he wants to just relax, which understandably, you worked, you want to relax, but it's kind of like, well, what about her? She just worked the same hours you worked. She liked to relax. So that's amazing that it came so naturally to you guys. You just fell into the groove and didn't have to worry about that stress.
So wait.
I would say even with those responsibilities, cooking, cleaning, like we teamwork with all that too. Like if I'm cooking, he's gonna clean up the kitchen. If I'm cooking and cleaning, he's putting the kids in the bath. I mean, like we just always have done that.
Just to, release the pressure off one another, and that's the best thing about it. So you won't be so hard on me, you won't be so hard on her. So, and
then he cooks too. So like if I've cooked all week, I'm like, okay, you got the weekend because I need a break. So he's okay with cooking, he is okay with cleaning, he's okay with whatever. So that never was an issue for us.
So were you the type that, like, hey, when you hear you need to pump my gas, like, the women don't pump the gas, or the man needs to take the trash out, nothing like that?
I would say he just always wanted to pump my gas. I'm a very independent person, so I'm cool with pumping my gas. I'm cool with taking the trash out. He would be like, no, I'm here. I need to do that stuff for you. And I would be like, I mean, I could do it too, kind of thing. But it wasn't, I'm not touching the trash.
Right.
I'm not that kind of person. I'm probably too independent. He probably thinks so.
Mhm.
That he's like, well, I am, let me do these things for you when I'm just like, listen, I could do this,
Yeah.
So,
We
yeah.
relate.
I had to learn
We
that
relate.
lesson because
What?
I'm independent too.
Yeah.
And I'm like, listen, if the trash needs to go out, I'm going to just
No,
roll it on out.
We were
and
just
take
talking
it
about
out.
this on our last live where I pull up to the house one day and she got the lawnmower outside and everything.
We just
about to
got a
cut the
new
grass.
lawnmower. I wanted to just try it out. But it's like, because in my head, it's not like male work versus female work. It's just work that we have to do. And so, like, when it came to like the trash and things, he was like, no, just, let me do it for you, blah, 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 let me do it. But I'm like, listen, it has to go out Wednesday night or Wednesday morning. It's Tuesday night. It's not out yet. So let me just roll it on out there. And then he's like, like, as the man, I want to do this, blah, blah, blah. And in my head, I'm like, as the man. So this is what you need to make you feel like a man. But it was, back then, it was years ago. I've grown. But now I realize that it's more so that, as your partner, as the man in the relationship, let me do this so you don't have to. I don't want you to have to do this. Not that you're incapable, but, I'll just do it for you. It's not that big of a deal. And so then I'm like, okay. Now I'm like, go ahead, take out the trash, do what you do. But I used to be like, because we had friends, and like literally we had this conversation last week on the live. But we had a group of friends who are big on like their roles within their relationship. And they are more traditional with roles. And so I was telling them this, and they're like, well, Charmaine, I don't think he's trying to say it like, in a chauvinistic way. But she was like, he just wants to do it. So I'm like, okay. So then what if he hurts his ankle, is on crutches, and can't take out the trash? Who's going to take out the trash? And it would be me. So that's why I'm like, it's not necessarily a role thing in my mind. It's just whoever's capable can do it. But hey, now I'm like, if you want to do it, by all means.
Let me keep your battery home.
Yes. So I do think there's certain things that maybe men just will do, but I don't think it's something that like you said, Jameelah, like you wouldn't take out the trash. It's just something that, he just typically does.
Yeah. So, okay. While we're here on roles also, with everything going on right now, how is it with schooling? With the kids, with Lil J?
Virtual learning. Is he doing virtual school right now?
Virtual school.
Okay.
It's okay. I mean, it has its ups and downs. I've often thought about just taking him out doing my own thing. But they're typically online for an extended period of time. It's like regular school, but at home on the computer. And so that to me is kind of a lot of being in front of a computer thing. And then his teacher has pretty high expectations in the middle of this pandemic, which is kind of crazy to me too. So, but I mean, we're making it work.
Yeah, she do that stuff. I be going to work. She at home with the kids doing the virtual school. I be at work. So I call lunchtime and check on and see what's going on, see how you doing or whatever. And then come home and ask, how did it go, stuff like that or whatever. But
do you help with homework?
They don't have
Don't be having homework.
I mean,
they don't have homework.
They're not having homework. I mean, like they're not having homework. Like he got a project coming up that he probably have to do, like after school time, but not just like homework, regular homework, like they used to have when they're in school. But I think the difficulty more is trying to do that and having a small child at the same time can be difficult because, he's trying to do his thing and Jay's trying to do his thing and I might be doing something. So that kind of thing.
Yeah. I understand.
Okay. So do they just do most of the classwork while they're going through this, like their lessons? They just get it done right then and there and turn it in?
So they have like live lectures, then they have recorded lectures, and then they have time where they have to complete stuff. So she may assign some work at 9 a.m. and it may be due at 1 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
And so they may have a lecture for, let's say, 30 minutes, I don't know. And then for the next 30 minutes, they have to complete an assignment.
Okay, gotcha.
Or something like that. So it all gets done throughout the day unless he didn't do what he was supposed to do. But it all gets done before, like, because he's done it too. So his school starts at 7:40 and he's done at 2 o'clock. And he has like an hour break.
Mm-hmm.
And like a few other breaks throughout the day. So some days are live lectures and then other days are recorded.
Okay.
Nice.
Gotcha.
Okay. So that was a half an hour of family boundaries.
Oh, really?
It went by quick,
I'm
huh?
rolling.
Yeah. But that was cool though. That was a lot of substance. Actually.
Yeah, and it was, I feel like, a lot of like pearls that people can kind of take away from that.
Yeah.
Because you guys discussed how like everything is even within, the roles and the boundaries that you guys set for yourselves as a couple. And then you also divulged that, dealing with boundaries with in-laws is still like a work in progress. Like you guys are still a happy married couple, but there's still things that you still work through and navigate, and you're still always growing and learning and becoming better, especially as a team, So thank you guys for sharing that.
Yes, people, you are not alone.
Yes, you are not. That's seriously.
Right.
So we also had physical and personal boundaries on here. Physical boundaries include your body, personal space, and your privacy, type of things like that. Violations could be standing too close, inappropriate touching, even looking through your personal files or your phone or anything like that. For you guys in a relationship, did you guys ever have any type of boundaries like that, like the phone thing or social media or anything at all?
No, I mean, we're very open. Like, we're not, like, I never tried to, like, just, like, go through his phone and, like, ask his password. I mean, like, I just trust him.
Mm-hmm.
So we never had an issue with any of that I can even think of.
Okay.
You went to my phone before we
That was a long time. That doesn't count.
Okay, that don't count, I guess. But she did.
That was okay. One time.
But we kind of open. Our phones just open. We left on. We don't have no locks on our phones. Nothing like that. What's her phone's her phone. My phone's my phone. So we don't really be thinking about that.
Okay.
Nice.
All right. So let's say personal space and everything like that. You guys, I mean, I know you guys don't do it now. I guess I could just ask, what's your mindset about dancing or anything like that?
Like if you guys go out to a party dancing, like your partner dancing with someone else.
Yeah. Do you think that
it's okay, or is that crossing like a boundary?
That's a boundary that don't need to be talked about. You already know. You ain't gonna be dancing with no other guy, because I'm not gonna do it. So why would you do it?
Yeah.
I don't think that's really.
I mean, that's just out of respect.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even think to even do anything like that at all. So.
Well, I met her in the club when she was dancing. Yeah, she was dancing all in the club. That's why I met her. She was dancing.
He's showing out.
Okay.
Oh, can you guys tell?
But you the one that danced in the club, though.
Right, but you didn't meet me.
But I know I didn't meet you in the club.
Yeah. Don't be trying to say
I
right now, we did not meet.
I always tell that story. I always tell it.
No, the story that we went to the club and I am the dancer. He is the person that is not going to dance. He ain't going to dance if we out here. I am the dancer. However, we never met at the club. We just happened to go to the club at the same time, or in the middle of the club, but we didn't meet at the club.
So you guys know they did not meet at the club. Can you guys, I forgot to say this in the beginning, can you guys tell our audience how long you guys been together and married?
Yes, we've been together 12 years and married for 3.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, okay. So dancing is a no-go, but it's mostly, so for Jameelah, it's out of respect that you wouldn't do it. For Mom, you said, I'm not doing this, so you better not be doing it.
And I
Right,
mean,
that's real. You know?
It is real.
it's still respect. That's respect.
And it is a respectful
Yeah.
thing. It's like, well, listen, I'm not out here doing the most, so you keep it cute.
Right.
Dance with your girls in a circle.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And I
Right.
just play bodyguard over here. We good.
Right.
Yes.
Nah.
Okay.
All right. Let's see here. Should we just go to the next one or what?
Mhm.
All right. So we also have emotional boundaries. Emotional boundaries involve separating your feelings from another's feelings. Violations can include taking responsibility for another's person's feelings or letting another's feelings dictate your own feelings, sacrificing your own needs to please someone else, blaming others for your problems, and even accepting responsibility for someone else's problems. Now, that's pretty heavy. That's a lot for...
Like, which one of those sort of areas? I mean,
Yeah.
it's a lot.
So
Let's get us one or however.
Yeah.
let's see. Okay, here we go. Sacrificing your own needs to please someone else's.
That's a big one because, go ahead. So you guys tell me, do you think that is an unhealthy emotional boundary, especially being a married couple?
Where you don't put yourself first.
I mean, I feel like I'm trying to see, because I mean, my thoughts about this is when you don't put yourself first. I mean, because as a mother and as a wife, like you just, at least for me, I always put the kids' needs, the husband needs before mine a lot of times. And he even has to remind me to like do something for myself because I'm always constantly doing for the family. So I think that is just a lot of times a mother's sort of role a lot of times, I guess. But
and then also I like when we first had a child and then we was living together and things of that nature, I stopped thinking like about me and start thinking about them. You know what I'm saying? So when I be out or whatever, what I need to do, or if I want to spend some money on this, think about let me get something for them first, or you know what I'm saying, do something like that. Get something what they need and then worry about me later.
So did you find that did you find that to be a detriment in some cases? Like you had to find a balance for things like that?
I think now as we going through life now, like you just said, you got to think about sometimes, you got to do something for yourself.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get so carried, you be so deep in helping, looking out for them so much, you won't have time for yourself.
Yeah.
Like say now, I'd be like, find some time to do something for you, to relax or whatever. Because you be, so caught up with the family, you don't have time for yourself. So
yeah.
I think so. Like he was saying, like he's pretty good at taking time to do some stuff for him. I have to be reminded sometimes to do something for yourself. Go take and have some time to go do something that you like to do. Like that's a work in progress for me.
Okay. That's why I asked, he's good. He take care of him. No, but that's why I asked you, did you even think it was an unhealthy emotional boundary? Because when he said it, I was like, it's actually something that I think that both partners do in a relationship. Sometimes you do sacrifice your own emotional needs to, please your partner.
Yeah.
Now, I agree, though, what you guys are all saying, that there has to be a balance to it. Because if you keep giving so much of yourself and you never nourish you, that's why a lot of people wake up and they're like, man, I don't even know who I am anymore.
Yeah, they lose their self-identity.
Yeah, they get to where the kids leave the house and then it's just you and the husband and they're like, I don't know what I like to do, because your whole time was spent just pouring into everyone else. Yeah. So I think really commendable that mom will even remind you. He's like, listen, I'm taking care of me, girl. You better put in some time. You better add it
somewhere.
Shoot.
Go, get your nails done. Go, you know.
Yeah,
But you
awesome.
did, if I'm correct, she had a birthday that just passed, right? Not too long ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I did.
Happy belated birthday. Did you
Thank
get
you.
some? Did you get some good time in though for yourself?
I did. He planned something for us to do. We went to a winery out here, and we also got massages.
Yeah, we got massages, and well, yeah, we went to a winery. So we actually my parents got the kids Friday. Yeah, the whole weekend. Friday,
Nice.
Saturday, we picked them up Sunday. So
Nice.
So she had live.
He said, "You gonna get this me time, girl."
Exactly. She was able to go to the salon, don't worry about the kids.
The hair looking great, yes.
So yeah, that was well needed.
Yeah, that's amazing. You guys are such a beautiful couple.
Yeah, you guys are inspiring.
Yes. Alrighty. So
those are really all the topics.
Yeah, because so the 3 boundaries were, like you said, the emotional boundary, personal and physical boundary, and then the family boundary. And it seems like you guys are navigating all of those boundaries with style and grace.
Really.
And, of course, with everything, you have to learn. Like, everything isn't just, well, some things come naturally, like you guys said, with like parenting, your roles in that just kind of came naturally. But then, like you said, with parents and in-laws and just your in-laws with the grandkids, like those are things that still, it's like, oh, okay, so they just don't listen.
Right.
We said no candy, and okay, they're a little hyper. But but it's just part of the journey of being in a relationship and being an individual, but yet being like a wife or a husband.
Yes, having that respect for each other.
Yeah, so that's awesome. We appreciate you guys so much for coming on the podcast today and sharing, and we hope that you all who are listening gained a lot of valuable insight. And what were you about to say? I was going to tell them to tell people where to find them. But go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, can you guys let people know where to find you? Anything you guys want to
promote or anything?
I can go first. So I am on most social media channels, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at Dr. Jameelah ND. That's DrJameeLahND. Facebook, Instagram, even Pinterest. And I actually go live every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So join me.
And we'll put their handles on the screen.
You can find me at Anias Zaire. So that's on Instagram and on Facebook, and it's ANIAS ZAIRE. So that's my brand. Come check it out. Check out the logo, the t-shirts, the hoodies, see what you like.
Yep.
All right. So one can get you healthy and one can get you styling and profiling.
Hey, you got to have 2, baby.
Yeah.
Healthy and proud.
Man. Oh, man, I love it. Oh, man. But anyway, that's the PowerTrip Podcast, our first episode of Couple Talk. People, please subscribe, make sure you follow these guys. Make sure you go get some merch.
Yes.
Make sure you hit up Jameelah if you're a mother and you
Dr. Jameelah.
Yep, Dr. Jameelah Nelson. Make sure you hit her up if you're a mother. Even if you're in the Atlanta area and would like to get healthy and you like naturopathic medicine, even if you just want to test it out, make sure you give her a call. And that's a wrap for today, though.
Yes. And if you guys have any questions or any comments that you want to write, make sure you contact us at the PowerTrip Podcast at gmail.com.
Yep.
And
follow
then once
us
again,
on Instagram at the PowerTrip Podcast. What were you about to say?
That's what I was going to say, honey.
Okay.
But yes. All right, guys. We're out. Peace.
Deuces, people.